Salutation! This is Christian of 5 Nerd, and thank you for joining. Now, let's see what's cool today. Today, I mostly just want to talk about Trafalgar Law, one of the characters in One Piece. And to help you, viewers who haven't seen One Piece, I'm just going to explain a couple things throughout the video so you can understand where I'm coming from. Trafalgar Law is a devil fruit eater. What devil fruits do is you eat it, you get a power, and you can't swim after that. Lore about it suggests that the ocean hates devil fruit and devil fruit eaters and disallows them to swim. Regardless of the lore, it still functionally works like that. They eat it, they get the power, they can't swim. Another catch, though, is that they can't eat two devil fruits. If they eat a second, they die. But Trafalgar Law ate the Ope Ope fruit, and what it does is it allows him to essentially create a sphere, and within that sphere, he's able to do miraculous things, mostly medical-based. He has a lot of different surgeries, some of which are dangerous to opponents, such as the gamma knife surgery, which basically cuts them up from the inside. But he also has the ability to, without killing someone, chop off their head or remove their heart, as well as a few other things. Today, though, I'm going to be discussing the Shambles ability, and why I think the Ope Ope fruit is really the OP OP fruit, the overpowered fruit. Now, a lot of people in the series have actually said that it is like the most valuable devil fruit. Particularly because there is a surgery that the devil fruit eater could perform, which would allow him to give someone else biological immortality. They would never age. However, it would kill the devil fruit eater himself. That's not the reason why I think it's the OP fruit, though. The reason is his Shambles ability. Within the sphere he creates, he has the ability to swap two objects. He often uses that ability to swap himself with something like a log or a stone to avoid being hit by an opponent's attack. He usually uses it as a avoiding technique, a dodge. However, I think it has great combative capabilities that he doesn't really tap into. And so, there are three things specifically that I think he should attempt to use Shambles offensively with. Now, real fast, I want to explain a little bit more about the Shambles ability. Mostly just that even though he has the ability to remove someone's heart or cut them in pieces without really hurting them, he never does it with Shambles. He never tears a person with Shambles. He doesn't make them into multiple pieces with that ability. But he is able to use other surgeries to do that to people. So I wouldn't put it past him being able to swap those. He just never does. But we do see him swap himself with objects, so we know he can use his Ope Ope fruit to Shambles humans and living objects. So I think that he would be able to swap food in someone's stomach or digestive system with another item. And the three items I think would be most dangerous to use the Shambles ability like this with would be a devil fruit, something with sea prism stone, and just an ordinary large object. Now, the first two would be specifically against devil fruit eaters. As I mentioned before, if you eat a second devil fruit, you die. So if Trafalgar Law, with his Ope Ope fruit, he would just need to get his hands on a devil fruit, and he would have the ultimate way to kill any other devil fruit eater. Well, maybe any other. There is this one character who did learn how to consume multiple and get their powers, but he's kind of an outlier for this. Moving forward, though, There are two people in particular that I wanted to bring this one up with. They are both emperors of the sea. So how it usually works is there's pirates and regular marines who are kind of these low-level tiers in the One Piece series. But then you start getting stronger, like on the pirate end, there's also the Seven Warlords, which are actually really powerful pirates that the Marines recruited. So basically, the warlords get amnesty and get to go do their thing, but also help the world government sometimes. And above the warlords are the emperors, who are really the most powerful. Each of the four emperors basically control large swaths of ocean. Across the world, the Big Mama pirates, who Big Mama is an emperor of, controls Fishman Island, and she has her own region of like 36 different islands that she controls, and there's probably a lot of others that haven't been specifically named, but she controls a large area. Same with the other warlords. And three of the warlords, Blackbeard, Kaido, and Big Mama, are devil fruit eaters. Now, Blackbeard is the one that figured out how to consume multiple devil fruits and not die, so he's the outlier. But with the other two warlords, Big Mama has the devil fruit ability to suck opponents' lifespans, their souls, from them as long as they show fear. And she also has... And then also Kaido, he has the strength to fall from over 10,000 meters in the air to the ground with basically not feeling a thing. So both really powerful opponents. But since they're devil fruit eaters, Trafalgar Law would just need to create his room, shambles that devil fruit into their stomach, they'd have eaten a second devil fruit, and dead. Okay? He could take out half of the emperors in only fighting each seconds at a time. He could take out with enough devil fruits, he could take out their minions, no problem. And this is especially OP because in the arc where they take out one of the warlords, Doflamingo, it is revealed that there are artificial devil fruits called smiles. Okay? So they learned how to make devil fruits. Same thing. Eat it, get power, can't swim, eat a second, you die. That makes it so easy for him to be able to get his hands on tons of devil fruits. He even captures the person creating them and destroys the other facility. So he definitely would be able to keep a hold of Caesar Clown, who is creating these smiles, in order to have a constant supply of devil fruits to shamble into opponents. He would be able to easily take 2 devil fruits and go up against someone who isn't a devil fruit eater. Shamble, dead. Let's move on though. There is a substance called Sea Prism Stone that negates devil fruit abilities as well as causes extreme exhaustion to devil fruit users who touch the Sea Prism Stone. Now, he may not, since the Sea Prism Stone counteracts devil fruit abilities, he may not be able to shambles it into somebody, but he would be able to, have it on a mason chain where the handle is wooden, and then the chain and the mace ball are Sea Prism Stone. Then he would just need to use shambles to have the opponent teleport to where he is touching the Sea Prism Stone, and then the devil fruit opponent can't use his abilities and is extremely exhausted, basically taken out of the fight. Now, it would at best be able, Trafalgar Law would at best be able to shambles the Sea Prism Stone onto the opponent, or shambles the opponent into Sea Prism Stone handcuffs. But at worst, he would just need to use his Shambles ability with a little skill to position his enemy right, so that he could just cause the opponent extreme exhaustion. So those are two easy ways to take out Devil Fruit Eaters, and with enough Devil Fruits or Smiles, take out anybody. But another way that could take out a lot of people, possibly not anybody, would just be finding a big stone and shambling it into their stomach. Since this now, let's say you have a circumference of, or perimeter of your waist of, let's go large, say like 60 inches. You would just have to find a rock as big as 60 inches, as big as your stomach, and you could still explode your opponent. And there are actually a lot of logs, rocks, and other materials that size in One Piece, easily accessible. So Trafalgar Law wouldn't have any trouble having those on hand. He could even shambles opponents' cannonballs fired at them into their stomachs. So I do have to question whether or not that would work on Kaido. Kaido is the warlord who fell 10,000 meters, basically didn't feel a thing. And it may or may not work on Kaido, depending on how the teleportation works. I find two scenarios where it wouldn't work, and one scenario where it would work against Kaido. The first scenario where it wouldn't work is the rock gets teleported in and is just crushed. The second would be if, since the rock is so big, it envelops more than inside of the stomach. There's also stomach and body tissue where the rock would have to overlap. The Devil Fruit ability may not allow for that overlap, so it wouldn't allow for the shambles. Those are the two scenarios where I think the shambles ability wouldn't work on Kaido. But if the shambles ability works to allow the rock to fill the stomach and then basically create an alloy out of the stone, and maybe not an alloy because that's usually metal, but create a new substance that is like a few molecules of Kaido, a few molecules of stone, then Kaido stone, kind of interweave this stone, which is weaker than Kaido is, with Kaido. You could, over time, at least keep shambling in stones until he's, one, basically petrified, and two, falling apart, since the stone isn't as strong as his Kaido bits. Anyway, again, two scenarios where shambling a rock inside an opponent's wouldn't work, and one where it would. But still, he has potentially three ways to shamble and dominate any opponent. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Of course, remember to like and subscribe and share the video, especially with your friends who like One Piece. But I also want to know, leave in the comments whether or not you think any of these would actually work. Could someone shambles a devil fruit into someone's stomach? Would that count as eating it? Would the opponents get the devil fruit power? Would the opponents die for having a second devil fruit placed inside of their stomach and not chewed? How much skill do you think it would take to shambles an opponent into a Sea Prism Stone? Or do you think that he could find a way to shambles the Sea Prism Stone, or maybe shamble the word connected to the Sea Prism Stone, and since they're connected, the Sea Prism Stone would go with the word? And how do you think the shambles teleportation would work with the stone? Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think. And for now, that's what's cool. And this is Christian, and signing off until next video.